Hi, I'm Steve with Locking Security Mailbox, and this is our steel wall-mounted locking payment Dropbox mailbox combination. So in other words, what that means is you can use this as a wall-mounted mailbox for U.S. postal mail, or you can use this as a payment Dropbox. For example, if you are a office, for example, that receives payments of some type, you can receive payments as well. Talk about the dimensions real quick. The mailbox is 13 inches wide, so any type of a manila envelope that's no longer than 13 inches wide will easily drop inside there without any type of a problem. The drop capacity is 7 inches deep, so if you have anything bigger than that, it still will allow it, but it's just going to be a little bit more difficult. So for example, magazines are easily going to drop inside this because they're flexible and they can drop in there. A small bank bag, for example, can easily drop inside there. Small or standard size business envelopes, if you're receiving rent, any of your U.S. postal mail shouldn't have any type of problem going in there. You can even drop a box of checks in there. A small soft envelope with prescription drugs can drop in there without any problem. So again, 13 inches wide. It's 7 inches deep, but then there's a 1 inch overhang. And so what that 1 inch overhang is let's say you're mounting this to a wall and your eave doesn't cover over quite enough, or you get a lot of rain. That 1 inch overhang helps protect it from rain from getting inside there. So it is designed to be in direct weather without any type of problem. And then the height is 18 inches. And so this top portion here is the drop door. And then this bottom portion right here is the access port. And this allows you to pull the mail out. As it's shown here, it has a combination lock. And then there's also an option for a key lock if you don't want to use the combination. Combination lock is pretty cool. You set it with actually any of your numbers that you want to use up to 3, or using 3 digits, so you can set your combination as 1, 2, 3, for example. And to do that, all you do is put it in the unlock position. You get like a paper clip, and you apply pressure in the little hole that is there. And as you're applying pressure onto that, you'll feel it give as you push it in. You set the combination you want. Make sure you keep pressure the whole time. And then you release, pull the pressure off of it. You check it, make sure the combination you entered is in there and it's still turning and working. Okay, because if you if you released pressure halfway through setting the combination you wanted, it's not going to work properly when you put in that combination you want. So always check it before you do it. And then once you've confirmed that your code is in there that you want, you're ready to go. And then you can easily change it at any time. Just repeat the same procedure. So it is quick and easy to do. The keys lock. Obviously, you just put the key in there, and it's got a steel cam that keeps it secure. Again, so this is 13 inches wide, it's 7 inches deep with a 1 inch overhang, making a total 8, and 18 inches high. The drop door has anti-fishing fingers back in here, and it's hard to see. I'll show you some additional footage. But what that does is when you're trying to fish something out of here, let's say you have like a coat hanger with something sticky on the end, which is prominently what a lot of thieves try to do, it'll get caught in those fingers and knocked back down, and they won't be able to take your payments or any of your mail. Makes it really difficult. This is made out of heavy gauge steel, and so you don't have to worry about, a lot of mailboxes right now, if you see them, they're like, $89 or $120 or something really inexpensive. It's because they're really thin metal. They're like a soda pop can, so you can just crush it and tear it apart. We do use a heavy 10 gauge steel. That's what this version is here. So 10 gauge steel, for example, so the lower the number, the thicker the steel. So if you see something that says it's 20 gauge steel, for example, it's really thin steel. If you see something that's 18 gauge, that's really thin steel. Then as you start getting lower, 14 is a good standard size. That's pretty thick. And then you get to 12 gauge, it's a little bit thicker. When you get to 10 gauge is twice as strong as 12 gauge, and 12 gauge is twice as strong as 14 gauge. So the lower the number, the thicker the steel. This one here again is 10 gauge steel, so it's really durable. The access door, just under 13 inches to drop the mail down inside there. So it's really universal in the way it can be used. Some of the great features, again, the combination lock or the key lock. It's got the heavy gauge steel. It's got a stainless steel hinge. That hinge is here, and then there's another hinge down here. If you're going to have this in an environment such as in Florida on the coast, California on the coast, something like that, the steel is galvanized, so it's going to hold up well. But here's a clue if you didn't know: any steel will eventually rust. Even stainless steel will eventually rust. And so with the galvanized steel, with the powder coated finish, what we recommend is protect it. Put some car wash wax on it, wipe it all off just like you would wax your car. Do that once a year or every once in a while, and that's really going to make your paint hold up a lot longer. Now on this particular model, there are 3 mounting holes on the top and 3 mounting holes in the bottom. And so the reason we've done 3, most boxes only have 2 on the top. The reason we have 3 is this center one is we'd like to see you hit a stud with that, especially if you're secured it into sheetrock. So get a stud finder, find the stud, and put that main set screw into that stud. It does come with mounting hardware, but if you're going to use it into masonry, then you're going to need to go down to the hardware store to get mason screws. There is a template with the instructions, so you set that template on the wall, mark it, make sure you hit that stud if you're going into sheetrock or anything like that. And then you set your screws. The keyholes allow you to put it in place, and then you open it up and you tighten those screws down. And now, of course, it is tough to tighten those down, but because it's hard to get your hand in there, so we really recommend a long screwdriver, at least a 14 or 16 inch screwdriver, to finish tightening those off. And again, the reason we do that is makes it difficult because it makes it difficult to remove. And even if they were to get these top screws for some reason, the bottom screws they wouldn't have access to. Another installation tip is right before you finally secure it to the wall is get some adhesive caulking and go ahead and put like 6 or 8 dabs of adhesive caulking on there, stick it on the wall, slide it into those keyholes, tighten it up, and as you tighten it up there on that wall, that adhesive caulking is going to make it even more difficult, and you can even caulk around it as well to make it tough. Again, this is our Castlebox designs. That's the manufacturer. Steel large wall-mounted payment Dropbox or mailbox. Works really well for any home or apartment. If you're receiving U.S. mail and you don't have a locking mailbox, this would be a great option. If you're in an apartment complex and you're receiving payments, this is probably one of the best wall-mounted boxes you can get. It does have holes in the bottom. If you want to secure this to a post, you can easily do that. Get yourself a steel post and bolt it to there. The holes are pre-drilled. So it has lots of different applications you can use it for. Combination locks makes it so that you don't have to have a key when you go out to access. Or, of course, there's an option for a key. If you have any questions, or maybe you're looking at this video and you're like, hey, I need something bigger, I need something smaller, I need something that goes through the wall, we can actually custom make a box for you. Just give us a call or send us an email and we can talk you through that process. These are on hand. We typically ship in 1 to 2 business days. And if you have any questions about it, give us a call or send us an email, lockingsecuritymailbox.com.